Next, I will speak about the experience of recovery after capture, after captivity. With us here today is Maxim Kolesnikov, the veteran of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Thank you ever so much, each and every one of you. For a start, I would like to thank you for your grand work, for what you are doing today, getting together, for doing all you can for such people as myself. I thank Uliana for my rehabilitation, for this friendship that we have, and for the invitation extended to come here today. As I was thinking about what I could share with you, something useful or perhaps interesting for you. Actually, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a certified psychiatrist or psychologist, although yesterday I heard another lecture on military psychology, and before the war I had been studying psychotherapy, but still I'm lacking a lot of knowledge. But I know something, and I know what people feel within. I understand I'm not a unique individual. There are many other ones like myself, the people who are coming back from captivity. I'm not bragging, but unlike many other ones, I analyze myself very often as time goes by. And maybe, in a way, I can verbalize and rationalize that, and I can reflect on that. I'm sorry for this great number of highly elevated words, but maybe this can also get you thinking and somehow will be helpful in your work. The first slide, please, if I may. I was in captivity for nearly 11 months. This was the 4th day after I was discharged from captivity last year. On the 8th of February, I was released. As a result of the prisoner of war exchange, I was given with a smartphone, and on the 4th day of my release, I decided to take a picture of myself. I had lost 32 kilos of my weight, bodily weight. And I was joking that not all of that bodily weight I had lost was extra weight. A lot of that was vitally needed. When I see this face, not only of my body, I get so embarrassed, I get so uneasy. This was the situation I was in. I went to Novi Sanjare. I stayed there with 2 boys, and one of those boys was my inmate for several months. I would also like to show you a video, if I may. This is the video I made here in this medical institution as I was going through my medical rehabilitation and treatment. This was the second time after I arrived here. I saw my wife, she kept coming to me, and I was also constantly posting different videos. The second time I arrived here, I woke up in the morning and I went to do some exercises on the exercise machines just to flex my muscles and to feel much better. I was sharing everything I could. I wanted to communicate as much as I could, and this was one of the forms that I chose for myself. Now talking about reflections on myself. What happens during rehabilitation after people are discharged from captivity? You gain control of your own life. In captivity, nothing depends on you. You don't know when to sleep, when not to sleep, when to sit, when to lie down. You cannot lie down when you want to do it. You don't know what you will eat. You cannot choose who you will be with in the prison, in your room, in cell. You are not in control of anything. You live according to a particular schedule, according to the people's words, the people who are beating you. And the first thing that your rehabilitation starts with is a resumption of control over your own life bit by bit. You wake up in the morning and you ask yourself the question, do I want to lie in? I don't have to get up and sing the anthem of Russia. I can still afford lying in bed or waking up early in the morning. Like back in the day, I showed you, I woke up very early and I immediately went to read different news updates. Right now, I require 8 hours to sleep, but at that time, I needed so much less. I recuperate much faster, so I could wake up very early, walk around the territory of the hospital. I could just lie down and listen to some music or read everything that I had lost during the time of my captivity. Mr. Autumn. Back in the day, it seemed to me, and it still seems to me, that the people without who are helping you in terms of resumption of this control, they are so helpful because it mattered for me so enormously when they said to me, you can do this, you can go for your treatment, or you can lie down and sleep. You can eat. Here there is also a shop, you can do some shopping. So all of these things, all of those guidelines and instructions, the more you give them to the servicemen who come back from captivity, in order for them to reinstate control over their own lives, the better it will be. People have to become aware of that. I cannot imagine when the boys have been in captivity for 2 or 3 years, how hard it will be for them to get back to normal life. People understand they are not in control of anything at all, but this is most important, to get back in control of your own life. Next, safety and security. There, you can be tortured and beaten up at any point in time. Whereas here, you know, nothing of the kind may happen to you. I am based in Kiev. I live in Kiev with my wife. We have a car, and for her, it wasn't a problem to come and visit me here in the Sabapradana clinic. I could also come back here every weekend. It was so vitally important for me to know that I could stay here. I could go shopping and come back here, and I was always confident that here I would be feeling safe and secure. Even when they discharged me from this clinic, I still felt like I'd rather stay here because the surrounding, the setting created during rehabilitation, it makes you feel that you are so safe, you're so secure, and I'm so happy about that. It's also the point of effort that seems to be super important. Explaining, making people feel, enabling them to understand that here you're feeling safe and secure.
Хлопці, які от повернулися 3 січня, я був в обміні, там один з тих, хто був зі мною в полоні, саме
The boys who came back together with me, the ones who were with me,
майже 2 роки.
one of them was hungry for about 2 years. This is also about control, but anyway, this feeling of being full, of being saturated.
Well, that guy who came back with me to Sanjari, his girlfriend sent a package to him. There were chocolate bars, like 30 or 40 of them. We invited one more person. So the 3 of us, we went through them in a day, because food, after a person who went hungry for a long time, it's important. And then you remember tastes of things, like they bring you something, and when you eat a banana for the first time, it's like an explosion. And all of these things are so important. It's a little comeback, bringing yourself back. You remember that you used to like it. A lot of talks in captivity are about food, because we go hungry there, and here you can eat it, you bring it back. So it really is important to see that when there is a candy, a piece of fruit. I'm trying to tell you that this is the whole world. I don't know if you understand me. I'm so happy you did not go through that, and I wish you never do it. But just remember that there are people for whom this little candy can be a memory. You may have seen my photo with an apple and a photo of a different guy who was crying over this apple. That was his reaction. He was kept in St. Petersburg. This seems to be a capital of culture, but it was hard there. But for him, that apple meant so much, even before he could take a bite. And this possibility to sleep when you want, not when you have to. Young boys really needed to sleep. They tried to hide because when you're hungry, when you're cold, you really need sleep. And they were punished for that if they were found sleeping. So they tried to find a place in the camera in the cell where they would go down and sleep. Even in winter, I did have this period of time when I would just do it. And now suddenly you can sleep when you want. You have your own room, which you share with your neighbor, but which can be locked. So you can come back and go to bed. Tell that to people, you can do it. So because this is both control and sleep, you need less sleep because you sleep better, but still this is so very important. It's a problem for a lot of people, especially with people who had a lot of concussion. A friend of mine came back now from Kupiansk. He sleeps really very badly. With those who came back from captivity, again, the situations can be different, and talking about that is very important. Right after the exchange, they say that the first week is it is recommended that the family doesn't come to see because you need to see doctors. There is a lot of work with the security services, information about people who were with you. You have to tell everything that happened to you. But it is very important. It is important to know that there are people who are ready to talk to you, and there are people who will leave you alone when you need it. You know that we text a lot now. This is one thing, but all of the people who were younger than me, they kept texting their girlfriends or their friends, and that was very important for them. So when they get a smartphone with a phone card right at the point of exchange, it is very important. And having people who are ready to talk to you when you feel such a need, it's important too. I really liked that you could do various things. You can go into psychoeducation and listen to this stuff there and sleep. And I advised everyone, you should go, I said. Do both things there. So there has to be a chance to communicate and do talk to them. That helps. Physical exercise. You saw that I went to trainings. I had this workstation. Then I went to physiotherapy, to group trainings. I know that there are people who like it. This is what held me there. By the time when we could, I did some physical exercise. They forbade us to do it in winter, but I did some push-ups or something else. I tried to hide because we're forbidden then to do it. It helped me. For some other people, it's not helpful, but I think it could be helpful to many people because you're physically tired. It's easier, and the blood goes somewhere else away from the brain. So I would always advise that. A friend of mine who is a combat medic, and we talked to her, and she told me about her dreams, and I asked her, do you train? Do you go to the gym? She said, well, when I go to the gym, when I sweat, I sleep well. So I think it's very good if there are conditions for that. So if you are responsible for a center which doesn't have any equipment for physical training, you should have that. It's so helpful. It's helpful for your physical body, but the body and the psyche is just one system. And when the body is working, yeah, you saw that first picture of mine. 5 kilograms was so heavy for me in the very beginning. But I tried to do weightlifting. I thought, okay, I'm good, I can do it. And then I was lifting more and more weight. And this is so important because you come back to who you used to be. And there is also some kind of caretaking. You're becoming a human again. There, you're not a human. When I'm thinking about the attitude of the Russians that they had towards us, you're just a number, you're not a person. And at some stage, when you are admitted and you're on the list, they can't break you to the point that you die. Or if you die, it's not a big deal too, but it's best that you don't die. But it's just a torture, not for something, for some goal, but just because you're not seen as a human. And that feeling that somebody takes care of you, this feeling in which I had here, you become a person. You're not a chair anymore, which has a registration number. You're a person again. You are a human. You feel needed. Medical treatment, I think this is self-explanatory. I'm no doctor. It's hard for me to say much about it. I do remember what was done to me. I just trusted the doctors. I said, I would do what you say. I did not have time for all of it because there was a lot. But again, it also had some psychotherapeutic effect on me. You are seen as a human being again. There are many camps or prisons where there are no doctors at all, especially the people from Mariupol were treated especially badly, and doctors were not let to come to them. And in my case, in my institution, only some older people who were civilians, like one of the people who had a stroke. He was taken to a doctor after he started feeling very bad, and he was given some medication. And in general, there is nothing of that there. So maybe it was the placebo that was working, because you just understand that there are people who want to make you feel better, and this is so important. Here, it's the bicycle. This is March 1st. And then just the stuff I did just for fun. Yeah, that's what I wanted to highlight. This is the most important thing that happens to be during this period of time. You bring back the control, the communication, your capabilities, your knowledge of yourself. You feel a person. I don't think you will feel what you used to be. A lot of things changed, and they changed forever. I can't say that I'm the same I used to be, but I'm close to that. After treatment, I returned to the army. I went to see my child. They asked me if that was important. That was very important for me. I was sent by the intelligence services of Ukraine to a conference abroad, and my daughter was abroad, and I did all I could to see her because I only saw her once after that. So if you can talk to your children every day, that's cool. I'm slightly envious of that. Not everything was treatable here. I didn't know that. We didn't know that. When I came back to the unit, I kept having pain in my leg, and I was sent to an MRI. It turned out that my knee had suffered very seriously, and I had to go into surgery. This is my second rehabilitation in the Center for Sports Medicine. I said I would not go back to Polyana because I thought it was more necessary to other people. I just needed physical rehabilitation. I like it. After a surgery, you can't move because it's a knee surgery, and here I could do something, which was already very good. And my last picture, compared to what you saw in February, it's very different. On October the 20th, the trauma that I received, the injury was this knee injury was deemed to be too difficult, and I was released from the army. And this is me and my wife in Saloniki in Greece. So I was happy to talk to you. I hope you could hear something important. Thank you for your attention.